MrBeast is a marketing mastermind. His chocolate brand Feastables will do $500 million in sales this year. His YouTube channel gets over 2 billion views every single month, and he'll likely be YouTube's first billionaire, and he's only 26 years old. And in this video, I'm gonna share 15 big marketing lessons that I learned from MrBeast after spending hundreds of hours studying him that you can use to make more money from your marketing. And just in case we haven't met, my name's Thisura. I'm a marketer who's made over $30 million in sales for some of the fastest growing brands in the world. And my goal with this channel is to give you the best free marketing information that helps you make more money. So with that being said, let's dive into these marketing lessons from MrBeast. Marketing lesson number 1 is model what works. One of MrBeast's biggest marketing secrets that he uses to be a viral video creation machine is he looks for other pieces of viral content that performed well, and then he makes his own version that's 10 times better. For example, his most popular video series on YouTube is his $1 versus series, where he compares a $1 version of a product to like a $1 million version of that product. And each video in the series gets hundreds of millions of views. But he got inspiration for that video series from BuzzFeed, which is another popular YouTube channel, where he saw they did $1 donut versus $1,000 donut, and he saw it did really well for them. Now on top of that, he saw the concept of comparing something really cheap to something really expensive going viral for multiple other YouTubers in different industries. So he knew there was an appeal and mass interest in that type of video concept. So he knew if he recreated that idea and made it 10 times better and took it to the next level, he could go hyper viral. So what did he do? He created $1 plane ticket versus $500,000 plane ticket, or $1 car versus $100 million car. And it crushed it for him because again, he wasn't reinventing the wheel. He took a proven winning concept and took it to the next level. MrBeast said himself, this is one of the most overpowered strategies to going viral. So you want to make sure as a marketer, you have a pulse of what's working in your industry, what offers are crushing it, what ads are working well, what content's going viral. And then what you want to do is you want to recreate them with your own twist. Keyword, your own twist. You don't want to just copy and paste them. You want to make them your own and elevate them to the next level. And if you do that, there's a high chance it'll work for you too, because you're modeling success. You're taking a proven winner. So that's lesson number 1, is model what works. Marketing lesson number 2 is max out what works. Once MrBeast has a video concept that's working well, he does as much of it as possible before it burns out, because he knows once you have something that works well, just do more of it and make it better. That's going to give you way more output than always trying to find a new thing. And a great example of this is his $1 versus series. He knew that was getting traction, so he created 6 more videos following this concept. Now keep in mind, 6 videos for MrBeast is a lot because each video cost millions of dollars in production and months to make. And you see this over and over again. He did this with his tournament series, his protect series, and his survival series. He rides the trend and gets as much juice as possible from it. So the key lesson here as a marketer is when you have something that's working well, whether it's a traffic source or a product that you launch or an ad campaign, do as much of it as possible and make it better. That's going to give you way more output than always trying to chase that shiny object. So remember that. Do more of it and make it better before you try to recreate. Marketing lesson number 3 is the power of personal brand. MrBeast has one of the biggest and most engaged personal brands in the world, and this personal brand is what allowed him to build a $500 million a year chocolate company in its 3rd year in business, which is crazy because MrBeast knows if someone's at the grocery store and they're thinking about buying chocolate and there's 20 different options in front of them, if they recognize his face and his brand, they're probably just going to buy his chocolate. Because if you look at all the other chocolate competitors in the space right now, whether it's Hershey's, Cadbury, or Mars, there's no personal brand that's attached to it. Now compare that to Feastables, it's personal brand led. And because of that, he is using this competitive advantage to disrupt the chocolate industry. Like my prediction is in the next 20 to 30 years, he is going to be the biggest chocolate brand. I just don't see how that doesn't happen because he has more distribution than anybody else. And if his chocolate tastes as good or better than the current competition, and there's that personal element, people are just going to buy Feastables instead. So this is why you're seeing these personal brand led companies that are disrupting industries, whether it's Prime by Logan Paul and KSI that did over $1.3 billion in sales last year and is disrupting the drinks industry, or Terramana Tequila by The Rock, which is valued at billions of dollars, or Kylie Cosmetics, which is Kylie Jenner's brand, which made her a billionaire. And this pattern is only going to continue to repeat itself because people relate with other people, not just companies anymore. So you want to make sure as a marketer for your company, you ideally have a personal brand or someone who can create helpful content for your audience that they can build a relationship with. This can be you if you're the business owner, or you can partner with an influencer to create content for your brand. And if you do this correctly, you're going to get way more conversions because now you have that personal brand and that relationship with your audience. Marketing lesson number 4 is fail fast. MrBeast knows failure is just part of the game, and the faster you fail, the faster you can figure out what works. For example, in an interview with MrBeast, the host asked him, "Hey, do you ever get upset when you spend millions of dollars creating a video and the video fails?" And MrBeast responded saying, "Yes, it does hurt, but what he does is he takes all of his energy and he figures out what can he learn from this failure, because as long as he can learn from this failure and use that failure to improve his next video, his videos will continue to get better over time." And this is such a good lesson for marketers, because as marketers, we are going to launch things that fail, whether it's an ad campaign, a piece of content, or a new product we launch. And when this happens, the worst thing we can do is beat ourselves up about it. Instead, what you want to do is look at it and figure out why did it fail and learn from it, because the faster you fail, the faster you can figure out what works. So make sure to remember that. The faster you fail, the faster you can figure out what works. That's lesson number 4. All right, quick break and we'll get right back to the MrBeast marketing lessons. But if you want to get 20 plus free marketing courses and trainings that I used to generate tens of millions of dollars in sales for my clients, all for free, go to marketersplaybook.io. That's marketersplaybook.io, or the first pinned comment below. And all you have to do to get them is put in your best email address and I'll send them your way all for free. Again, that's marketersplaybook.io, or the first pinned comment below. Put in your email address and I'll send them your way completely free. So apart from that, let's get right back into the marketing lessons. Marketing lesson number 5 is split test what matters. MrBeast knows one of the most important marketing skills he can put his energy into that provides disproportionate returns is split testing. And what split testing is testing multiple different versions of something until you find the version that's working best. For example, let me walk you through his split testing process to find a winning thumbnail. And what a thumbnail is the image of the YouTube video that makes you click on it. And it's one of the most important factors that determines the success of the video. So step number 1 is he has a separate thumbnail team that creates over 40 different drafts of thumbnails for that video. Then step number 2 is they narrow it down to 3 thumbnails that they want to test for that video. So they go from 40 versions all the way down to 3. Then step number 3 is they launch the video and test those 3 thumbnail variations to see which one's the winning thumbnail that has the best click-through rate and retention, and that's their winner. But they're not done just yet, because then they move on to step number 4, where they continue to make micro adjustments to that thumbnail to make it even better. And what I mean by micro adjustments is they take that winning thumbnail and they might change the color slightly, or the text, or maybe the color of the shirt MrBeast is wearing. Just these small micro adjustments to increase the performance and click-through rate of that thumbnail. And that's a huge reason behind why MrBeast videos are able to go so viral, because every single area that affects its performance is hyper optimized. So you want to make sure as a marketer, you split test the key areas in your business that drive the most results. For example, one of the best activities you can do to increase revenue if you have enough traffic is every single week, make one split test to your website to increase conversion rate. Most business owners aren't going to do this, but if you do this over the course of the year, you've made 52 split tests to optimize your website. And by doing this, you're going to have a website that's hyper optimized and converts the max amount of visitors into customers. And that's going to give you a competitive advantage. So you want to have that mindset of constantly split testing and improving your baseline. That's lesson number 5. Marketing lesson number 6 is nail the hook. MrBeast is a perfectionist when it comes to the first 30 seconds of his YouTube video, because he knows if the first 30 seconds of his video doesn't hook you in and sell you on why you need to watch the rest of the video, it's not going to matter, because you're going to click off and do something else, and all the millions of dollars he spent on making that video is not going to matter. So he spends disproportionate energy on getting the first 30 seconds as good as possible. And if you want a great example of this, watch his video, I Tied Up an FBI Agent. The first 10 seconds of the video starts with an opening scene where there's an FBI agent tied up and they're in like an attic. And then MrBeast says, "I tied up an FBI agent. If he steals this $100,000 from me, he gets to keep it. Here's a knife. Let's go." That that is the hook. It's short, it's sweet, it engages curiosity, and it has you bought in on the storyline. Like, is this person going to catch MrBeast and get the money or not? And that's what you're going to see as a pattern throughout the rest of his hooks. They're short, sweet, to the point, engage curiosity, amazing storyline, and there's usually a shit ton of scene changes to keep you engaged in that content. Because again, he knows if that hook is not perfect and it does not sell you on watching the rest of the video, the rest of his video is not going to matter. So make sure as a marketer, you adopt a hook first mentality. And this means you put most of your energy on getting the first 30 seconds of your video right if it's a long form video, or if you're creating a short form video, the first 5 to 10 seconds of your video perfect. Because again, this determines if the person is going to watch the rest of your content. And if you do this, your content is going to perform so much better. So that is lesson number 6. Marketing lesson number 7 is make things easy to understand. MrBeast knows if he wants to be the biggest content creator in the world and create videos that reach hundreds of millions of people, his content must be as easy and simple as possible for people to understand. Whether it's someone who's 80 years old watching his content or 5 years old watching his content, they need to be able to understand it, because if they don't understand it, they're going to click off his video and that's going to hurt his retention. So the way he does this is he keeps the scripting on his videos below a 5th grade reading level. On top of that, he uses storylines that anyone can understand, and he uses thumbnails that are as simple as possible for the video concept he's creating. And because of that, he's able to create videos that have mass appeal that anybody can watch. I even heard one story where he wasn't sure if one of the videos he created was too complicated, so what he did is he played back that video to people of all different ages, from old to young, and only when every single one of them were like, yes, I understand this concept, did he upload that. And that really illustrates the point of how he understands that his videos must be as simple as possible. And this is a great lesson for us marketers, because our goal is to communicate clearly and simply to our prospects, because a confused prospect does not buy. Like, remember that, a confused prospect will not buy. So it's your goal to communicate as clearly and simple as possible. And the way you can do this is, if you're writing any sort of copy, use an editor like Hemingway and make sure your writing level is below a 5th grade reading level. On top of that, you can also read your content out loud before publishing it, and any areas that you stumble on or that are too confusing, edit them out. And if you do this, your marketing is going to be much more persuasive and you're going to have more conversions, because your goal as a marketer is to communicate simply and clearly. Marketing lesson number 8 is obsess on the data. If you watch any interview of MrBeast, you know he's obsessed with data and analytics, because he knows the better he understands the data, the more clarity he has on what adjustments he needs to make to improve. For example, he hyper-analyzed his YouTube video retention graphs. And if there's any point in the video where that retention graph dips down, he will analyze that section of the video to see what part needs to be improved, so for his next video, he has less retention. And it's not just for his YouTube videos. Also for his chocolate brand Feastables, I saw an interview where behind him on the whiteboard was just a bunch of graphs and data about the chocolate industry in terms of how fast it was growing, what the competition looked like, everything about it. Because again, MrBeast knows the better he understands the data and analytics, the better decisions he can make. So as a marketer, don't be afraid of the data. You want to look at it. You cannot improve something you do not know the data behind. For example, if you're running Facebook ads, you better know what your cost per acquisition is, your cost per lead is, and your cost per click. You need to have that data handy. Like, a big mistake beginner marketers make is they're afraid to look at the data and see the truth. They just go blind, and because of that, their results always suffer. Now, expert marketers, they confront the data head on, because they know by having that data, they can make better decisions because they know what areas they need to improve. So as a marketer, obsess on the data, and by doing this, you're going to be able to make better decisions that drive results forward. Marketing lesson number 9 is find a common enemy. Nothing rallies people together like a common enemy, and MrBeast knows that. If you look at his marketing for Feastables, the common enemy that he's fighting against is Hershey's and the old chocolate brands that have most of the shelf space. Because if you look at his videos, he just trashes those old chocolate brands and Hershey's, and he talks about how they taste like shit and they're made of bad ingredients, while Feastables, the good guys, are made with simple ingredients and it tastes a lot better. So now people rally against this common enemy and they want to join his mission of saving the chocolate industry from the bad guys. And this is much more persuasive than just buying his chocolate. So you want to make sure, if you can, in your marketing, Find a common enemy that your audience can rally behind. And again, this is far more persuasive because if they can get behind it, they're not just buying your product, but they're also standing up for something. They're standing up for a cause and a common enemy, which is far more persuasive. Like, this is one of the most powerful concepts if you can understand this. So that's lesson number 9, find a common enemy in your marketing. Marketing lesson number 10 is study marketing. MrBeast is the best content marketer in the world right now, and it did not happen by accident. MrBeast spent over 50,000 hours studying viral YouTube videos at the deepest level possible. He mentioned on a podcast with Joe Rogan that back when he had 10,000 subscribers, he met up with 4 other YouTubers who had around the same subscribers, and they spent 10 plus hours every single day studying and hyper analyzing viral YouTube videos. So they would study the pacing of the videos, the editing, the titles, the thumbnails, literally everything end to end until their brain pretty much became the YouTube algorithm. And at the end of this intense study period, they all went from having 10,000 subscribers each to having millions of subscribers. Now, one key thing here that's really important is they didn't just study, they made sure to implement at the same time. So they were all creating content on YouTube, but they took the learning lessons from this study period into their content, and that's what catapulted their growth. So as a marketer, make sure to constantly study good marketing, whether that's successful ad campaigns, reading books, or investing in courses and education around marketing. But what's most important is you're taking these learnings and you're applying that in the real world. And if you do this, you're going to be able to progress so much faster. Like, this is what allowed me to learn marketing really fast, is I invested in courses and education, and I also spent a lot of time studying good marketing. And by doing this, my brain started picking up on what good marketing looked like, and it translated to the work I was doing in real life. So don't forget this and constantly study marketing. Marketing lesson number 11 is make your content platform specific. Before MrBeast publishes any piece of content, he makes sure to see what it looks like on all the different platforms and devices it's going live on so he can meet the viewer where they're at. For example, he knows that his thumbnail editors design their thumbnails using a desktop. So what he wants to do is test that thumbnail and see what it looks like on mobile as well, because what's visible on desktop might not be visible on mobile. Same thing with his video once it's edited. He'll see what it looks like on different platforms to make sure all the edits they made are congruent across every platform the video is going live on, and that attention to detail is what allows him to get the best results possible on every piece of content he creates. So as a marketer, before you publish any campaign or piece of content, make sure you meet the reader and viewer where they're at. Make sure it's both desktop and mobile optimized, and make sure any platforms that the content's going live on, you see what it looks like. Because again, different platforms have different aspect ratios. And if you just publish a piece of content and you don't have this attention to detail, you might lose out on a lot of viewership because you're not meeting the viewer where they're at. This is such an important lesson, so make sure to do this. Marketing lesson number 12 is to go through your process like a customer would. And I love this lesson because MrBeast knows one of the best ways to improve your marketing is to go through your marketing exactly like your customer would. There's a great story where one day MrBeast spent 15 hours visiting all the local Walmarts and Targets that were supplying his chocolate feastables to see how they were selling it. And he came across one location where the sales for his chocolate was really low. So when he went to visit that store, what he noticed was there was no chocolate on the shelves. And if there's no chocolate on the shelves, you ain't gonna make any money. So what he did when he dug deeper is he found out the store did have his chocolate in stock. It was just stuffed in the back of the storage room. So all he had to do was get the chocolate out of the storage room, put it back on the shelves, and the chocolate immediately started selling again. But he would not have got this insight if he didn't go through the marketing process like a customer would. So the key lesson here as a marketer is we need to go through our marketing process every once in a while like a customer would and make no assumptions. And I guarantee you, every time you do this, you're gonna find areas in your marketing process that can be improved and where there's a disconnect that's causing you to lose out on sales. Like, there is a reason companies spend tens of millions of dollars every single year on secret shoppers, because they know by fixing those areas, they can get massively more output from their marketing. So go through your marketing process like a customer would. Marketing lesson number 13 is assume nothing. And this is a really powerful marketing lesson I learned from MrBeast, because if you watch any interview of MrBeast, you can tell this guy's a retention machine, because the moment the interviewer asks him a question that he feels that the viewer or the reader doesn't have enough context on, before he answers the question, he'll literally look in the camera and then provide more context to the viewer and then answer that question. And the reason he does this is he knows if the viewer doesn't have enough context of what's going on, they're gonna feel lost and confused and then watch something else and bounce. So he makes sure to explain everything fully and clearly. And this is such an important lesson in marketing, because we never want to assume that a our reader knows what's going on. We want to explain everything clearly and fully. And if we do this, we're going to increase our viewership because again, a confused and lost prospect is not going to buy. So explain everything clearly and assume nothing. Marketing lesson number 14 is master storytelling. One skill MrBeast said he's trying to become world class at is storytelling because he knows humans have been communicating with stories ever since like the dawn of time. And a good story can make everybody feel the exact same emotion no matter how old they are or where they're watching it from at the exact same time. That's how persuasive and powerful stories are. And if you watch MrBeast's more recent videos, you can tell he's really developing strong story arcs and people are starting to notice. Like if you watch his video, $10,000 every day you survive in the wilderness, where the concept is he got two people, I think their names are Grizz and Hayes, and every day they survived in the wild together, they make $10,000. And there's a twist in the middle of the story. When they're 30 days in, they made $300,000. They're both really happy and in good spirits. MrBeast brings in their family to visit both of them. And then Hayes' wife tells him, hey, you've made enough money. I need you back home to help me look after the kid because they have a newborn. And then Hayes is really having this big internal conflict because does he want to stay longer and make more money or does he go back home to be with his wife and kids? And every time he brings this up to Grizz, Grizz persuades him to stay a little bit longer to make more money. And you can tell that this is causing a rift between both of them and the tension starts to increase. And at this point, they're like 70 days in, right? So they've been in here for a while and you can tell that Hayes is like noticeably depressed and there's a lot of tension going on. And then Grizz has like this complete character arc moment where he says, hey, you know what, man, I should have done this a lot earlier. You've been here for long enough. And then he takes the flare gun, shoots it up in the air to signal the end of the challenge, and they go home early. And then everybody in the comments section is cheering them on, saying how incredible the story was, how invested they are in both of them, and how Grizz is such an amazing friend, yada, yada, yada. But it's all because they had good storytelling and a build-up, because a good story everybody can understand, and it gets you more bought into the characters, increasing the video retention. So as a marketer, one of the most important skills we can develop is the power of storytelling. There's a reason why some of the most successful marketing campaigns of all time are story-based, because everyone in that market can relate to that story and that problem. And I'm not going to go over how to learn storytelling in this video, but there's two books you can pick up to go more in detail. One is Expert Secrets by Russell Brunson, and then you should check out Building a Story Brand by Donald Miller. Those will give you a better idea of how to communicate stories in a way that sell. So that's marketing lesson number 14 is master storytelling. Marketing lesson number 15 is know your audience. And this is arguably one of the most important lessons in marketing, and MrBeast knows this. He says multiple times his goal is to create the best videos on YouTube. And he knows in order to do that, he has to have a deep understanding of his audience and what they want to see in order to make this happen. So one thing he did very early on, and he still does to this day, is he reads his comments. He interacts with his community. He makes sure to understand what they like and what they don't like. He wants to really get in bed with his audience because the deeper he understands them, the easier it is for him to create things that they love. And ultimately, that's all business is. It's creating things that people love to use or buy. And he does the same thing with his chocolate brand Feastables. There's a reason he visits the physical locations and why he talks to his customers. Because again, the better he understands his audience and his customers, the easier it is for him to create something that people love to use or buy. So we want to make sure as marketers, we get in bed with our audience and customers. We know them at a deep level. We know what motivates them. We know what problems they face. We know how they want to be perceived by others. Because the deeper we understand them, the easier it's going to be for us to create marketing messages that strike a nerve and compel them to buy. So know your audience. That's lesson 15. All right, so those are my favorite marketing lessons I learned from MrBeast, and I hope you found them helpful. Now again, if you want to get 20 plus free marketing courses and trainings that I use to generate tens of millions of dollars in sales for my clients, all for free, go to marketersplaybook.io, that's marketersplaybook.io, or go to the pinned comment below, and all you have to do to get them is put in your email address, tell me where to send them, and I'll send them your way all for free. Again, that's marketersplaybook.io or the pinned comment below, put in your email address, and I'll send them your way all for free. Apart from that, I'll see you in the next video. Cheers.